In that movie, I will try to describe the Via Dolorosa, the way of the cross, the way of the misery of Jesus from the judgment place to the crucifixion place. It's going to be the first time that I'm doing it as one-shot video, and I hope that it will include all the stations. Then, let's start with it. We are in the Franciscans area, and the building next to you with the two windows and the fans is the Antonia. That is where Pontius Pilate judged Jesus. But because it's a Muslim school, the Christians built next to it two churches to symbolize the two stations, the first stations of Jesus. Then, although the crucifixion area, the judgment place, Patormi, was there, that's where we are praying. And that is the first station, a beautiful Barilucci church, based on an ancient church, but it's closed, and we are going to the second station. It's June 2021. On the way, I will explain about the Via Dolorosa, the meaning of it, and that place is closed to many because of coronavirus. No visitors. Let me try to open the door. See? It's open. I will leave the door on because of the light. That's where Jesus took the cross with him and started the Via Dolorosa. Let me remind you that Jesus didn't drink and didn't eat. They laughed at him. They put a thorn of horn on it, horn of thorn on it. And he had to carry the cross. And of course, he knew that he was going to be crucified. Then happy he wasn't. Beautiful to see that part, which is not part of the Bible, because the Bible didn't mention every minute in his life. You can see three images. The first one with the long hair, it's Mary Magdalene. If you will see a woman with long hair, not as decent as it should be, always Mary Magdalene, and behind it, Mary the mother, and John the disciple, which is the only disciple without a beard, the youngest disciple, trying to hide that sin from his mother. Beautiful church, based on ancient church as well. I'm talking about 19th century church. It's not so old, but you can see beautiful floor from 2nd century with games that usually the soldiers used to play, the Roman soldiers used to play on the floor while they were waiting for the judgment. And then in that case, it tells us that it might be the correct side. Let's go outside and let's continue the Via Dolorosa. I want to be honest with you and to tell you that the Via Dolorosa, that one is one of few versions, earlier versions of the Via. If that was the correct side or no, I don't know, but why not to believe that it was? Anyhow, what the Franciscans want us to understand is the agony of Jesus and the mother. Then say goodbye to Flagellation Church, and we're heading to the main street. Why I'm the only one? No tourist. Coronavirus. The noise that you hear is from the elementary school. ביי להתראות. אמן פעם באים עם מלא אנשים. אמן, 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 אמן. That's the main street, which is again empty. From the main street you can see the top of Mount of Olives. And we're heading to the third station. There are 14 stations. Some of them from station 9 or 10, you will decide. It's part of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Church of the Holy Tomb. On the way, you will see so many other places, and I will mention it too. Then when you'll do that tour with me or without me, you will understand what you can see in the middle on the way. Most of the shops are closed. No, thank you very much. Because there are no tourists. That arch, you can see 2 windows of it, is part of Triumph Arch that was built by Adrian, and according to so many traditions, that was the place that Pontius Pilate washed his hand, the Ecce Homo Arch. But in a way, it's an arch from 2nd century. Then I'm not sure that it's a true story, but it's a beautiful traditional story. Let's see it from here as well. The good thing in that video is that you are the only one, together with 2 taxis. 1 taxi. The sad story is that a lot of places are closed and we cannot go into it. On the way, we will see the prison of Jesus, and according to Greek Orthodox, remember what we saw as a Catholic, that was the Praetorium. That's where Jesus was judged by Pontius Pilate, and down there you can visit the jail, the prison of Jesus, you can see the prison of Christ. We're heading to the 3rd station. Before we will continue, before we reach the 3rd station, let me tell you that the Bible didn't mention all the 14 stations. Then why? It's part of the Via Dolorosa, the way of the cross, the way of the misery, mainly because the Franciscans, when they came to here, they added some stories that were almost well known from 2nd century here, and people used to follow it. Let me remind you that Jesus felt dizzy, and I'm doing my 3rd video today, and it's June. It's not a bad weather, and still I feel dizzy. Then you can imagine what's happened to Jesus. Then can he fall 3 times? Yes, he can. What about Mary? Did Mary follow Jesus? I mean, Mary's mother, his mother? Of course. I mean, as a Jewish mother, she will be next to her son until the end. She will do everything to help him. Let's see what we can see from here. מה שלומכם? מה שלומך? Then, here you can see a beautiful place that it's a must. It's the Austrian Hospice, and it's a beautiful hotel, excellent food, and if you will go into it, you can climb to the roof and actually see such an amazing view of the city. Then don't miss it. It will cost you 5 shekels, I mean, according to June 2021, but it's worth it, and there's an elevator to take you at least to the 2nd station. We are at Via Dolorosa Street, heading to the 3rd and the 4th station. The 3rd and the 4th station belongs to the Catholic, as you can understand, but the Armenian Catholic. That's where Jesus fell for the first time. Such an amazing place. Now, if you want to see the 3rd station, the inner part of it, and inner part of all the stations, which are closed now, I have so many videos of it. Then ride the 3rd station of the Via Dolorosa right in my channel, Via Dolorosa, and you will see at least 100, 200 videos of it. How should you recognize the stations? You can see the run thing with the number 4 because that's the 4th station and that's the 3rd station. And usually you can see the image of what's happening. That's where Mary met his child. And another thing that he will help you to recognize it, it's the round stones next to the entrance. Here and here as well. And here Jesus fell for the first time. And here he met his mother. I'm standing close to it mainly because the sun is in your eyes now and I don't want you. And again, we talked about the mother. I'm sure that she was with him, but again, it's not part of the Bible. All over the streets of the Via Dolorosa, you will see a lot of shops. A lot of them are for tourists, but a lot of them for local people, because it's the Muslim quarter. We are reaching the 5th station of the cross. That's where Saint Simon helped Jesus to carry the cross. That station, that story, was mentioned in the Bible. Yeah, you can recognize it by Via Dolorosa, the round thing plate with number 5, and you can see Simon from Kyrenia, Simon from Libya of today, is helping him to carry the cross. Remember, another way to recognize the station of the Via Dolorosa, and the stone marks the place that Jesus was standing. Now I'm not afraid anymore from the corona, and I couldn't breathe. And Saint Simon was forced by the Romans to help Jesus to carry the cross. What a Jew from Libya is doing in the city? Very easy. Every Jew had to be in the city 3 times a year. Then in that case, to find a Jew from Libya, it wasn't a surprise. Jesus was here for the same reason. Jesus didn't visit the city for Easter. Easter is because Jesus visited the city because of Passover. They're talking about Jewish tradition. מה שלומך? הוא רזה, אני שמן עכשיו, ואתה אחלה. כן, לא, אבל אחלה, לא נורא, לא נורא. בסדר, כמו שאתם לא עושים כסף.
שמעת יש תיירים באו? 1,000 איש.
לא, 12. 12 איש באו.
שמעת בתמול.
קבוצה? אני לא שמעתי על 1,000 איש. רוצים להביא עוד.
כן. 1,000 איש זה הטולידר.
We were talking together with a salesman here, and they asked me the same question that I'm asking myself. Where are the tourists? We don't know. It's June. They might be here in July. I mean, there's no coronavirus anymore in Israel. And of course, the one who will get the vaccination might be able to go in to visit us. I don't know. As you can see, the Via Dolorosa is totally empty. We are reaching the 6th station of the cross. That's where Saint Veronique saw Jesus, and he was sweating just like I'm sweating now. And she took a veil and cleaned his face. The legends say that the face of Jesus was printed on it. Now, if you don't believe me, it's okay. But the Pope will go out once a year and show it to the disciples. For me, although it's not part of the Bible, it's another great story. Because Saint Veronique was the only one who did something for Jesus. Saint Simon didn't help Jesus. He was forced to help Jesus. It's a huge difference. And here she did it. She knew that if she will help Jesus, they might crucify her too. The Romans, in a way, are equal to, in a way, ISIS. Are you going to help someone that was captured by ISIS? I'm not sure. But she did. Then for me, the 6th station of Saint Veronique is such an important place. Here you can see a column with a name on it. Veronica. That chapel belongs to another Christian order. It's called the Malachite, or the Greek Catholic Christian. They were Greek Orthodox who accepted the Pope, and then they became a Christian order, but their church just looks more like a Greek Orthodox church than a Catholic one. Beautiful place to visit. And between the 6th and the 7th station, although no one is now visited, this is El Mufti Cafe, and beside the coffee, תמשיך גלך, אני לא עוצר, אני רק מספר עליהם. Beside the coffee, here, he is an amazing man. Then I can always sit here and talk with him for hours. El Mufti Cafe, good day. Between the 5th and the 6th station of the Via Doloroze. Climbing up. מה שלומך? We are reaching the 7th station of the cross. 7th station of the cross is very important. But before I will tell you about the second following of Christ, I want you to understand that was the end of the city. Jesus was crucified outside the walls. Then the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is now in the center of the city, used to be outside the wall at the time of Jesus. Then we are leaving the city. And if you watch the video of the Eastern Corridor, that will lead to Damascus Gate, and that's the road that I didn't take early morning. You will see the link of it on the upper part of that video, and watch it and you will see what he missed. That's where he fell for the second time, and now it's the center of the city, but at the time of Jesus we believe it was outside the city. We're turning right immediately. It's actually to the left, of the 7th station, and climbing up a few stairs to visit the 8th station of the cross. That's where the ladies of Jerusalem were standing and crying. They couldn't do a lot, but at least they were sad. It's very difficult to find that place because there's no chapel next to it. But he already knows how it looks like. Look at the floor, the run floor. The number 8 on the plate. And the figure of the women and Jesus. For the 9th station, Nika. You have to go back to the 7th station. Many Christians and Muslims build so many houses on the way that we have to make a round tour. Remember, 7th station of the cross, but this time we turn left, and the 9th station is at the roof of the church. For that, you have to look carefully for that entrance. Now that used to be a very wide street. The Crusader divided it into 3 small streets, one for accommodation, another one for food, another one for souvenirs. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre at the 4th century used to begin from that street. Today, it's actually only half of the original church. It's been destroyed by the enemies of the Christians few times. Difficult to understand where it is. You can see here jewelry, and if you will see him, stop and buy something to drink. But I'm climbing up to the 9th station of the floor. לא, תודה, יש לי מלא. I'm going to the roof. And we just entered to the Christian quarter. The left part, until now we were at the Muslim quarter, although it's a Christian way. Still in the Muslim quarter. And we're heading to the 9th station. That's where Jesus fell for the 3rd time. And that's where the Church of the Holy Sepulchre will begin. But we will enter, if it will be open, from the Egyptian and the Ethiopian part of the church, which is a little bit unknown. First, you can see the border between the Christian and the Muslim quarter. The white dome belongs to a synagogue, a Jewish synagogue at the Jewish quarter. You can understand how small is the city. The 2 domes that you see in front of you is part of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. The small one is at the Greek Orthodox Church, but the big one is above the tomb of Jesus. Again, I'm the only one. Then you have a special tour. You cannot get lost, there's only one way. Can hear the church bells. It must be 12 o'clock. Now, that's where Jesus fell for the 3rd time. It's marked in 2 places. This is the first one, and then there's a column. You can see the cross on top of it. That part belongs to the Greek Coptic Orthodox Patriarch. And what's that cross is doing here? People are walking with a cross while they're doing the Via Dolorusa, but they cannot go in with a Catholic cross to Greek Orthodox place or to the Coptic place. Then they are leaving the cross outside. Am I the only one? Yes, of course. Welcome to Ethiopia. This is part of the roof of the church. Behind that wall is the village of the Ethiopian monks, and it used to be the dining room at the time of the Crusaders, or the Germans Crusaders. Looks like Ethiopian village, which it is. Then we will go now through the 2 Ethiopian chapels to the facade of the church, which I'm sure that some of you already knows it, but I will try to be quiet. Let me tell you that the Ethiopians were one of the first Christians ever mentioned in the book of Acts, and Queen Shiva visit King Solomon in here, and later on, 9 months later, the first Ethiopian child was born. And he came to visit his father, who gave him the ark with the 10 commands. And according to them, it's still in Ethiopia. And let me try to be as quiet as I can. can see here Queen Shiva visiting King Solomon. That's how a church looks like. Ethiopian church. The other government, in a way, is in Ethiopia, but a replica of it is in every church. Let's continue down to the facade of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Holy Tomb. Greek Orthodox calls that church, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, beautiful, isn't it? They call it the Church of Resurrection. Now, because there's no lot of tourists here, you might find more, but especially mostly Christians from Israel, not from abroad, although I heard that there's one group here. בסדר, מה שלומך? Then you can see the facade of the church. And there's a ceremony, then I will be quiet. Let me see, we'll actually go in. And front, in the entrance, you will see a stone. It's all part of the Via Dolorusa. We'll talk about it later on. Let's see if I can climb up to the rest of the Via Dolorusa stations. Here, on top of that small chapel, is where they strip him from his clothes. Let's see. Let's climb up. We're climbing up to the Golgotha. I do have so many videos of it, and I'm not going to talk a lot about the Golgotha, just show you the Via Dolorusa stations. But you can find long movies or short movies about the Golgotha, Calvary. From here, you can see where they strip Jesus from his clothes. And here you can see when they nail him to the cross, another station of the Via Dolorusa. You can see Mary purifying the body of Jesus. His mother is above. You can see the three Marys, St. John. That's a Catholic place. The next station is about the crucifixion itself. That's where Jesus was crucified. You can see the Golgotha stone. And remember, we climb up, that it's a small hill. And here, that's a Pietà. That's Mary, in a way, holding Jesus' body. I saw him dying. Remember when she was at the temple, they told her that her son will die in front of her eyes. It will be like a spear will enter to her heart. And here it is. You can see the spear. Then the Pietà. And now we will continue to the tomb, which is the last station of the Via Dolorusa, but I will add another two, which is not part of it. I don't know if I can, because I can hear the Catholic. She entered from the exit, but no rush. Be careful when you are using the stairs. People are usually, well, you can fall. Then we visit the Golgotha, and after he died, they buried him, and they purified his body like every Jew. Not part of the station, but according to tradition, that is where they purified the body of Jesus after he died. They put a shroud around him, and then they buried him in a cave. But the cave is gone, because if someone didn't like the Christians, it's been destroyed a few times. The tomb is in front of you. there's a ceremony now that I won't be able to talk about. That's the tomb of Jesus. We'll make a round tour. Look at the sun above it. The tomb is divided into two. And until a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I couldn't enter because of coronavirus. I won't be able to take a video on it. Look how beautiful it is. Then I cannot go in, but you can see the entrance to the tomb. Then that was the 14th station of the Via Dolorosa. I wanted you to see another important place, but that's where they're praying now, and that's where Mary saw Jesus on Sunday. If you like that video, subscribe my channel, and I will be more than happy that you will join to my tours via YouTube. See you.